Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Hello, Ijoma. Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed the suit filed by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, seeking to compel the Chief of Army Staff to produce the missing leader of the group, Nnamdi Kanu. The trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, also overruled the appeal for lack of merit and proof. Counsel to IPOB, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, had asked the court to order the Chief of Army Staff to produce his client, claiming that no member of Mr. Kanu's family had seen or heard from him since September the 14th. Opposing the motion, counsel to Lieutenant General Buratai told the court that Mr. Kanu was not and had never been in the custody of the Nigerian army. Reports say the former secretary to the government of the Federation, Mr. Babachir Lawal, has been released on bail from the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Mr. Lawal had presented himself to the EFCC 48 hours ago following the commission's invitation to him. He was subsequently detained at the Abuja office of the agency while investigators interviewed him. Mr. Lawal stands accused of channeling contracts to companies in which he had proprietary interest, especially as it relates to the presidential initiative on the Northeast. The Senate, which investigated the issue, had indicted him and demanded his removal. Mr. Babachir Lawal was first suspended in April 2017 when a committee headed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo investigated the matter. He was subsequently sacked by President Buhari in October 2017 after the committee submitted its reports. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is prosecuting a 7th judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia, for alleged bribery and unlawful enrichment. The trial of Justice Ajumogobia continued at the Lagos State High Court, sitting in Ikeja today, with the testimony of a 12th prosecution witness, Abdullahi Lawal. Among other things, the anti-graft agency accused her of receiving a total of $793,800 in several tranches from different sources between 2012 and 2015. At the proceedings today, the witness and investigator with the EFCC told the presiding judge, Justice Hakeem Oshodi, that in the course of investigations, the EFCC discovered a payment of 8 million naira into the account of Nigel and Co-Life Limited, a company said to belong to Justice Ofili Ajumogobia. The witness further testified that when confronted with a statement of account in respect of the 8 million naira payment, the judge lied about the source and the purpose for the payment. In the course of Friday's proceedings, the prosecution also attempted to establish that the judge lied about being hospitalized at Gold Cross Hospital, Bodelion Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. Further proceedings were then adjourned to February 23rd. And Globacom Nigeria Limited has petitioned the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, over the bench warrant its ad hoc committee threatened to issue to the chairman of the organization, Chief Mike Adenuga, on Thursday, January 25th. The organization made its submission before members of the Committee on Telecommunications in the National Assembly. Globacom's finance coordinator, Mr. Torihi Michael, insisted that the action of the chairman of the ad hoc committee, Representative Ahmed Abu, appears to be a personal attack on the Globacom chairman, Mr. Adenuga. However, the chairman of the House Committee on Telecommunications, Representative Fijabi Akinode, assured that the organization would do justice to the petition.
Permit me to state that yesterday they had a meeting concerning some issues raised by the committee, and over the period, some of these issues were being attended to professionally. And they had an agreement that they will meet to continue on reconciliation and discussion for the 15th of February. To our surprise, there was a bench warrant issued by the same honorable and his ad hoc committee on the chairman of Globacom. Let me state for the record, most chairmen of board don't run companies, so it's surprising. So being a chairman of Globacom doesn't mean you run the company day to day. And we felt it was a little bit of a kind of personal attack on the person of our chairman. And we will seek the intervention of your committee, my distinguished chairman, to call to order the ad hoc committee position and probably get them to retract that statement.
Your letter will be definitely passed on to Right Honourable Speaker. You will act on it, and as I've said, maybe our honourable colleague heading the other ad hoc committee is being quoted out of context, and secondly, the investigation is still on at this point in time, and the only time we can make recommendation is if the whole House agreed to our recommendation, then it cannot be made public. So at this point in time, I want to say this is our house and it's your house too. We are representing you. Everybody sitting down at the other side of the table as a representative, representing him here. So there is no reason why we have to go against or run after even some Nigerians who are even creating food on the table of other Nigerians.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Linda. There's a new kid on the block in the Nigerian bitters market, and it's Adonko alcoholic bitters. At the formal launch of the product in Lagos by the Ekulo Group, a Nigerian commodity conglomerate, and the manufacturers Engo Group Nigeria were confident in the new brand. The product is made from 11 herbal extracts and is said to be effective for indigestion and heartburn.
It's a marriage of two strategic business partners, Ekulo Group, described as one of Nigeria's leading commodity marketing conglomerates, and a Ghanaian counterpart, Angel Group. And what's at the center of the deal? Adonko alcoholic bitters, brewed in Kumasi from 11 herbal extracts sourced from within the deep rainforests of Ghana. Manufacturers of the bitters state the obvious advantages.
Adonko bitters has been used as medicinal healers from a vast range of ailments such as indigestion, heartburns, ulcers, heart regulations, liver flushing, aphrodisia, and memory enhancer.
No matter the quantity you take, you feel stronger the next morning. There hasn't been a single occasion where anybody has ever complained of encountering headache or hangover or feeling of weak joints or feeble joints because he took Adonko. Never.
And now, the unveiling.
2, 1, we go. Please, a round of applause.
From Ghana to Nigeria, Angel Group, makers of the bitters, say it's set to take over the market, and its sole partner believes it's about time.
We are happy to work with them because they show that they are serious, and they show that they have integrity, which is our major attraction. And we believe that their claims on the brand is true. That is why we want to go with them.
If you find something good and you have a brother, you should let him also benefit. We don't want to be selfish. So that apart from we being business oriented, trying to widen our scope in terms of market, we're also thinking of extending the quality products that we've had to our brothers in neighboring Nigeria.
According to the manufacturers, Adonko Bitters is Ghana's pride and the brainchild of one of Ghana's best brewers and mixologists. And together with Ekulo Group, they say the landscape of Nigeria's bitters market is altered for good.
Bitters made from herbal extracts for well-being.
Professional services firm Deloitte & Touche says it will continue to utilize its platform for dialogue on Nigeria's economic development. Executives of one of the oldest indigenous services company indicated this at the roundtable on Nigeria's Economic Outlook 2018, where notable policymakers explained the government's policy direction for 2018.
For Deloitte & Touche, Nigeria's economic outlook for 2018 cuts across budget implementation, tax agenda, monetary and fiscal policies, and how they all connect to investments promotion. One after the other, government executives from the Budget Office, as well as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, explained their projections for 2018.
A declining deficit, and that's consistent with the ERGP, but nonetheless, 2 trillion naira of deficit for 2018 is projected, but you can see that's now down to 1.77% of GDP.
Unfortunately, state governments have not been very tax compliant. But I met with the chairman of the Governors Forum, met with the chairman of the Commissioners of Finance, and let them realize a major area is in VAT and withholding tax, which actually belongs to you.
Beside fiscal and monetary policies, the more relevant issue for Deloitte & Touche is the pioneer status for incentives approved for 27 sectors last year.
Nigeria has what's typically called an MCP, a multi-currency practice. For me, that remains an issue to be dealt with.
We're working on a number of reports to provide the public with information as to how many applications were approved, for what sectors, how much was invested, how many jobs were created, in what states.
So what does Deloitte & Touche make of these policy directions?
The intention is for us to create a community within our society where government can continually use this kind of platform to hear comments from the private sector and how the private sector can continue to contribute to the society.
About 5.6 trillion, it's what the non-oil tax revenue that is centrally collectible in 2018 is budgeted for in 2018, and how well we do in achieving that is going to play an important role in what happens to our economy in 2018.
Meetings of this nature strengthen the relationship between government and the business community, one that Deloitte & Touche looks to sustain periodically.
Let's take a look at some more business news now. Here's Anne Wilder.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Ijoma, and welcome to Business News. President Muhammadu Buhari has given Nigerians the assurance that extra income from rising crude oil prices in the international market will be spent on infrastructural projects like roads, rail, and power in the country. The president made the pledge while receiving a delegation from Italian multinational oil and gas giant Eni in Abuja. The leader of the Eni delegation, Antonio Vella, says the company has presented a technical proposal to the NNPC to rehabilitate the Port Harcourt refinery, and a feasibility study has already been done on a new refinery with the capacity of producing up to 150,000 barrels of oil per day. The oil company has also disclosed plans to double Nigeria's power generation capacity at its plant in Delta State from the present 500 to 1,000 megawatts. The Secretary General of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, Vera Songwe, says that she expects Africa's economy to grow by 3.5% this year, representing an increase of 0.3% from 2017. Speaking at the 30th AU Summit in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa, the UN official says the growth will be supported by external demand and moderate increase in commodity prices, and a recovery between 2018 and 2019 for major economies like Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt. She, however, notes that the growth will not be enough for the continent's rising population. A four-day losing streak comes to an end at the local stock market as the all-share index recovers at the close of trading today. Let's hear more from Chimezie Obiwagu.
Thank you for joining us on Stock Market Report. It's a very good Friday for traders at the equities market as the index did make a turnaround as forecast. The all-share index rebounded to close up by 0.56%. It was only the big banks that didn't really perform well, though First Bank rebounded, but Zenith was steady and GT Bank lost 87 kobo. All the Tier 2 banks made a turnaround and Dangote Cement was constant. Traders believe that the market has found its stability after 4 days of bearish trade. However, the aggregate change for the week is still negative. The number of deals increased significantly and the transaction volume and value remain good. Traders say the final week of January is quite promising, and as the earnings season approaches, They believe the bulls will have the final laugh. And that was the stock market report. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.
As for major stock markets around the world, they have ended the fourth trading week in January mostly positive amid better than expected earnings and continuous economic growth in the U.S. Let's see the numbers for this day. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I wish you a profitable week ahead. I am Anne Nwaudu. It's back to you, Joma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's Falconets seek to seal qualification for Under-20 Women's World Cup as they prepare to face South Africa tomorrow in Benin City. That's on sports. Please stay with us.